What's up guys, GrimXV here. In today's video, we'll be covering everything I know about weapon swaps and how to blend them together with spells. While this video will primarily focus on PvP, PvE players can benefit from this too. For the PvPers here, I highly recommend you also go watch my video on PvP concepts. While learning combos will definitely help you, you'll still be picked apart if you're doing everything else wrong. I've tried to keep this video as unbiased as possible, but keep in mind what I'm sharing with you is based on my own experience and effort to find what works. It's by no means the only way to play, and is almost sure to evolve with the changes we'll be seeing in 1.0.
Oh, dude, I stole the game.
Team, where are we?
Yo, actually the best.
Now that that's out of the way, let's dive in. As I stated in my Insights video, mace is my recommendation as a starter weapon and is the most common first craft during the copper phase of a fresh server wipe. But what about the iron phase or even your in-game loadout? While all weapons in the game do share global cooldown between their E and Q abilities, you can still mix and match these mid-combat to better fit your needs in the moment. As you can see, whether you're a fan of it or not, weapon swapping is key to enhancing your play. Now, anyone can read a tooltip, but it's a little harder to understand what swaps are useful and which ones aren't. Rather than spending the next hour going over this though, I've decided to put together a spreadsheet for you. Links in the description below. Starting with the left side of the combos tab, I've provided some simplified notes for anyone just trying to get a general sense of things. My contenders for a 4 weapon core are at the top, followed by some basic situational combos and other useful information. These are listed in order of what I've found most optimal. Spear is placed above Greatsword here because outside of a few specific builds or scenarios, its attack range and attack speed give the best value when fighting at close range. Moving to the far right, you'll find some important notes on each weapon and some example combos for each spell type. Some of these are more complicated than others, but they're all possible during combat. We got it, baby. We got it. Just remember that when it comes to open world fights, simple trades are usually better. Looking at the charts in the middle, you'll find what I've put together to showcase the relevant EQ and QE swaps between all current weapons. This and the other tabs will of course be updated with 1.0 information after release. The charts read from left to right with the green Y squares representing the true or worthwhile combos, the red N squares representing the troll or non options, and the yellow squares representing the situational ones. You may be wondering why some weapons have red ends across most or all of the board though. Using pistols as an example, it's listed with no good swaps on both charts because in any competent fight, the pistols are primarily used for its high damage auto attack. The E is only really used as an iframe or to time unshielded damage on an ice block user, and its Q is pretty much only ever used in PvE or to meme and push people into fire on the arena. The truth is, there's just better weapons to spend your cooldowns on. When creating this, all 9 weapons were considered in this way, so while you technically could change something like a spear E into a crossbow Q, it doesn't really make sense, so it didn't make the cut. Now that you understand the sheet, let's talk about decision making. When fighting and trying to determine combos, you need to be aware of at least 3 basic things. 1, what situation you're in, meaning what's your position relevant to the enemy and what cooldowns do you have. 2, what do you want to do? Are you going to engage or run away? And 3, what is your enemy doing? Are they running away or engaging? Later on, you'll also want to track your opponent's cooldowns and consider faking your abilities to bait theirs, but you can get pretty far by just learning to do these 3 things and applying the correct combo for the moment. This is easier said than done though, so let's look at some example clips and reference our chart. In this clip, I'm farming Silverlight when I see a rat approaching. I was playing pretty late and felt fairly confident this guy was also solo, so I decided to take the fight. Knowing that I was fighting, I needed to decide how to engage. I could have gone all in here with a greatsword Q or dash, but since I didn't know who this was or their skill level, I decided to poke with a slasher Q instead. After the first trade, he decides to gain some distance and pop a pot. I cautiously followed him around the corner, but still ended up ultimately losing the next fight because of his ult. I have nothing up at this point, so my only option is to walk out. Because he won that trade, I know he's going to pursue me as soon as his ult ends. The only ability that'll be ready anytime soon is my E, with my dash and spear shortly after. Let's go to the spreadsheet here and see what my options are. We're not looking for damage because I don't have any other cooldowns up yet. That means we'll want something defensive to buy us a little time. Since we're in close range in the alley, my options are Pistol E, Greatsword E, Mace E, and Slasher E. I don't want to use pistols or Greatsword here because while I could dodge one ability with the iframe, I'd still be caught out afterwards with more of the cooldowns. Since the other two options offer a stun, one of those is what I want. Mace E has the shorter stun but would knock him away from me and allow me to run, while Slasher has a longer stun timer and would keep him close for further damage. Because I'm still confident and want to fight, the obvious choice is Slasher E. Next, let's look at the chart to see what I can combo off of it now. Spear shows as a green or good option, while Reaper and Greatsword show as a yellow or situational one. Starting with the yellows, I'd go for Reaper Q if I wanted quick damage but needed to avoid another hit from someone else. Greatsword if I was lining up an infusion combo, or Spear Q for pure damage. Reaper's ruled out because it's a 1v1 with no mobs near us, and Greatsword isn't an option because I'm using Dark Silver weapons. Now that that's out of the way, let's see what happens next. Alright, now let's back up and review that sequence. After landing my EQ, I dash in for an auto to get the heal. I'm now next to him with nothing but counter up, so I pop it instantly to absorb his next attack and buy time for my cooldowns. If he'd been paying attention to what I had up, he could have opted to go for a sword Q here. Thankfully, he didn't, which allowed me to win the trade. I now have nothing to use other than autos here, so I immediately distance myself once again and wait for my timers. At that moment, I wasn't really tracking his timers, but I knew he had something, so I played defensively. Because I started the last sequence with my Slasher E first, I knew my E is what would come off cooldown next. Referencing the sheet again, we have Pistol, Greatsword, and Axe E for options. I'm not confident in landing the Axe E while under pressure, so I rule it out immediately and decide on an iframe. Pistol E is usually the better choice between the two because it repositions you and has a faster animation. After dodging his Q and landing my E, he's in close range, so I try to go for another Spear Q. Because he positions behind me though, I quickly realize it's not going to land, so I cancel the animation and throw out a Reaper Q instead. I then go for the Heart Strike next because his dash, Q, and E are all down, pretty much guarantee me the hit. After that, I make a mistake and press my counter off muscle memory, but quickly cancel it to start the cooldown timer again. He gets another pot off before I can catch him, but is now in full-on retreat. My options for gap closing are Greatsword Q and Swordy, but I don't have any pots here, so I take it slow to make sure I don't lose any more HP. Once I've finally caught up, we have another trade, but he's flustered and misplays the exchange. He does a great job of dodging my Greatsword Q with Wraith Spear, but he then dashes out instead of taking advantage of my close proximity. His Q's down, but he still hasn't used his E. If I was in his shoes, I would have gone for a Mace E to take advantage of the fast animation. If he'd have gone for a Slasher E, I would have popped my counter the second I heard the invis. At this point, his chances of turning the fight are completely gone, so it's just a matter of running him down without losing too much HP.
Damn, bro, you are an arena nerd. Holy shit.
I mean, he's not wrong, I guess, but no need to get so salty. Now let's go over some team fight tips. Anything above duos can feel extremely chaotic without good comms, but you can often come out on top by just playing patiently.
I think we chase this.
I think we chase this. I agree. We have servants.
Clancy's fucked.
Eyes on Clancy.
We chase this shit.
He's about to get feared. Oh, triggered
Never
this
mind, I'm
thingy.
lagging.
He's fucked by Fallen Angel. He's fucked by Void now. He's trying to get into Banshee. He's cooked. He's dead.
So fucking
Axie on Abe.
unplayable, bro.
Axie on Abe.
Grim, you need to back up,
Abraham's
bro.
double voided.
Now, when engaging in team fights, your group should be rotating frontline members to keep everyone healthy while seeking to capitalize on isolation opportunities. When those 2v1 or even 3v1 opportunities happen though, you need to know how to land damage without breaking your own teammates' combos. The most common combo interrupters are anything that displaces an enemy. For weapons, that's a great sword Q, a spear E, a mace E, or the final push on a spear Q. For the abilities that won't trigger an enemy's defensives, your options are sword Q and crossbow Q for weapons, and for spells, pretty much anything that's a ground AoE or non-projectile. In this pancake clip, my teammates are down, leaving me in a 1v3 to stop our pancake from getting stolen. Because the enemy team didn't utilize the non-trigger abilities, I was able to successfully solo defend until my teammates revived not once, but twice. This eventually got us back into the fight.
Even saying that, you're risking being ostracized by society as well because you're associating yourself to demons. You're seeing anything offending you. So it's got to be a real one to speak up and do some shit like that. Someone that's willing to go down with you. You feel me? But like, I'd imagine the majority of connections are all in the industry as well, and they're not gonna risk what they built to go down. When chances are they involved with shit too. So like, that should speak volumes, dog. That should tell you a lot. I feel like that just needs to be explained. And then like the majority of these things are probably involved to some extent. So why the heck would they?
Fighting like this wouldn't be possible if they were more patient and disciplined with their abilities, but it also takes a decent level of awareness on my part to make sure I'm not getting caught in anything.
But I don't even want to say that. I don't want to say that. You probably know hip hop. If you watch it. What's that name? Stevie? I thought you liked me, Stevie.
Everybody think, you know, she's a bad bitch. He get all the bitches. It's not really about Stevie getting in my pants. You know what I'm saying? I want Stevie forever.
That shit sound crazy when you saying that, Paul, man. Anyway.
And that's it for today's video, guys. I personally think discovering your own playstyle and learning to weave your weapon and spell abilities together is one of the funnest aspects of the game. So if you enjoyed this one, please leave a like and subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching. This is GrimXV signing off.